Can we hear you?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, you can hear me. That's good. That's good.
Linford Sweeney is in the building. This is just phenomenal. And we're also going to put you on speaker. Oh, hold on a minute. We're going to make sure that you are, there you are, spotlighted. There you are, brilliant. We see you clear as day, which is awesome. And let me just say, Linford Sweeney has been doing big things for the longest of times. I mean, when we look at how much he has done, it really, really is, it's a lot. And clearly it's not over a day. You know, success does not come overnight. People become successful. People, oh, look, no. There's a lot of work that goes into becoming successful. And just having a brief look at what Linford has done, ongoing workshops at the Central Library in Manchester. Here's a column. He met with Martin Guttridge Hewitt. So we're going to talk about, you know, these various things that Linford has done, regularly drafted by the National Health Service, high schools, universities, colleges, the Black and Asian Police Association, who has done work as a Caribbean genealogist, has written 2 books, At Peace with Myself and Dreams of Freedom, has done sessions at the Manchester Library. You know, in referring to Black history, Linford has said people would think it could only be, you know, if you were to talk about history, you know, half an hour, 10 minutes, the story would be over. Yet Linford could talk about Black history for a week, for months. He could talk about it for months. And it's true to say, one of the things that you mentioned was that Black history, as many people, we've had that conversation here on the platform, many people would have said Black history, oh, and they think of the Windrush generation when our parents came over in their 50s and 60s. But come on. There's so much more. Linford, come on, you got on this journey into Black history. And I think of the professor that was on the show, We Are Black and British on BBC Two that we was just talking about. Something shifted for him and that got him to study Black history. What was it that got you to study Black history?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'd say there are 2 things. And actually, before I begin, let's just say hello to those people who are online, and particularly a few people there that I know quite well, including my daughter. Yeah, and a few other friends. Thanks for coming on. Yes, what happened is that how can I put it? When I was younger, my mother used to talk about her family. And she used to tell me, I knew her mother, so I knew my grandmother, but she used to tell me about her great-grandmother who was born in 1848.
Wow.
And my mother knew her until she was 24. So she taught her a lot about what she had been told about slavery. She was born 10 years after emancipation. Right. And then she told me about her grandfather, her great-grandfather, who was actually born in the 1820s. And then she also told me about her great-great-grandfather, who came over to Jamaica on a slave ship.
Wow.
So when she started talking about that, I started thinking, wow, I need to know more. So wow. that was it's my mother who really got me into it. And her eyes used to light up when she used to talk about history.
How old was you when she was telling you these stories?
Oh gosh, it's difficult to say, but I'd say from since I was a teenager. Right. She was telling me about, because we used to have a good relationship. We'd sit and talk, etc. And so she started telling me about, I'm also a very inquisitive person.
Right.
So I would always be asking her questions about her mother, where she came from, where her grandmother came from, where her father came from. And she either used to say, tell me, or she said, me no know.
Funny thing is, though, you're of the generation back in the day whereby there wasn't the distractions that there are now. So in the home, in the family home, there was communication. It's lacking now. Now the kids are in the home and they're on the phone, WhatsApp, chat room, or whatever chat room is called. They're on the computer. They're not even in the same room. They're up. You have to tell, hey, come down here. What are you doing? Just come downstairs now.
That's right.
You have to force them downstairs. So in your time, you'd just be about the house, I'd imagine. TV probably not even on, if you had one. So what else was you going to do? And you really got to know your mom. You really, the family.
Well, as I said, my mother and myself, I'd never been apart from my mother, apart from when she worked in Kingston when I was a child. I came here when I was 8 years old with my mother to join my father. So I've always been around my mother. I've always been asking her questions. Many times when I was about 4 or 5, I used to ask questions, and she said she just told me to go away. You know,
you used to ask too many questions. That's why
I asked too many, and she couldn't answer all of them.
Right.
And I've always been that kind of person. The other thing that actually got me into Black history in the 1970s. Giving away my age, but in the 1970s, I got involved with a project in Manchester whereby it was called the Black Women's Cooperative, which was actually started by Olive Morris. Olive Morris, who was part of the Black Panther movement in London, and she started the Black Women's Cooperative in London, and then she came to Manchester to study in the 1970s, and along with people like Cathlock, they set up the Black Women's Cooperative. And so at this cooperative, they used to have lots of African students would come down to teach Black history and to teach maths, English, science, etc. And we also had some quite, how can I put it, quite passionate Black men who were passionate about Black history, who used to be at this center. So it became the center where you learned about Black history. So that's where we started doing that. This was in the late 70s to early 80s.
Now, at this center, is it a place that you would go like once a week, once a month?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We could drop in at any time.
Right. But you made a habit of going.
I found out about it in 1979. Before that, I didn't really know too much about it. But in 1979, I found out about it, and I wanted to set up a project around the arts because I was very much into the arts at the time. In 1979, I had my own Black Youth Theatre. Yeah. And I was involved in projects. So I went to see somebody about setting up a project, and eventually that project became Mosside Arts Group. And the reason for it was we did not have Black arts coming into the area. And if it did, it would go to one of the big theatres, and we'd only know about it after they'd gone. Because these theatres did not know how to reach Black people.
And what do you call it? Moss art?
Mosside in Manchester.
That's what the last where it was.
Group. Right. And later on, that then became the Near Centre, which you may have heard about. Which became the first in 1990. It was opened and became the first Black Arts Centre in the whole of Europe.
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we are going back. We are going back into the days. It was. It started out with 20 members of staff, and it had a huge auditorium that seated 500 or 1,000. Stood up. You know, it was. And in 1991, it was officially opened by Nina Simone.
Now, interestingly, when it started with the people that ran it, were they volunteers or how did that work?
Yes, no, we were volunteers. We actually developed. There were about a team of maybe 20 of us, Africans and Caribbean people, and also some white people involved that supported what we did. And that's how we actually started as volunteers. I was a volunteer for 11 years. But then when we opened, everybody got paid apart from the volunteers.
How did when you how did that work? We're gonna have to go there. How did that work that everybody got paid apart from the volunteers?
Well, when I say the volunteers, we were the directors, we were the board members. So we were volunteers as board members. Right. Because we were a company limited by guarantee. We were not, unless we left the board, we couldn't actually be paid.
So did you ever get paid?
No.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
But that's the way charities work. It's the
it's a charity.
It's a charity. It's a company limited by guarantee. It's a charitable organizations. As a board member, you could not actually be paid unless there was some specific stipulation in your constitution that says otherwise. And
the constitution is written by?
Well, we wrote the constitution ourselves.
So you guys wrote yourselves out of a paycheck?
I actually wrote the first constitution for that organization. But at the time, that's the way it all worked. And when you think about it, we were a bit naive at the time and not realizing that we could actually write some of ourselves into it as professionals.
Right.
So that we could be paid for professional duties.
Right. And so what happened to it now? Is it still going?
No, it closed in 1995, unfortunately. And I won't go into the details because I'm hoping at some point in the future to write a book about the Nia Center with a couple of the other members who were still around.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the board members aren't getting paid. I mean, you sort of lose, and everybody else is, you can lose motivation.
Well, but if you look around you, you will find a lot of Black-led organizations that are charities are in exactly the same boat even today.
I know. There's a guy in Ipswich apparently, and he knows how to build these CICs.
Yes, so CICs.
So that you actually get
well, we didn't have CICs in those days. We had companies limited by guarantee, either by shares or otherwise. And this is the CICs only came in recently, and many Black-led organizations are now moving down that route.
Right, because you have to get paid. If you're not getting paid, why are you getting up? I mean, you like the love of your culture. Yes, you'll get up to a degree. Yeah. At some point, you got to keep the light on.
But this is it. And as I said, we were at the time, like everybody else in the country, other Black people, we were creating history at that time, but we didn't know that. We were just doing something that we enjoyed.
Well, but you weren't the only one, because we've done research into these things, and there was many groups, even like, so you're in Manchester, down here in London, where they were set up, and this is one of the things, you guys physically were going to a location to study Black history, to learn about Black culture or to share what you've learned. Nowadays, I mean, it's as simple as clicking into a Zoom or but we have more information, but less interest, because the minds of people are sort of scattered. So
I I wouldn't actually say there's less interest. I think there's a lot more interest now, even though it seems as if there isn't. There is a lot more. Take, for instance, I've been lucky enough to get the opportunity through one of the universities in Manchester to run courses for young people. Right. And I remember the first course that I ran for young people in 2015 at Manchester Metropolitan University, which was funded, funnily enough, by the University of Manchester.
Wow.
The first course we had, we were oversubscribed.
And oversubscribed was what, 50 people?
Well, yeah, we had about 60 or 70 that wanted to be on. We could only have, we only had a room that could hold 35 people at the time.
Oh, wow. So this was people physically coming in for the...
Yes, physically. This was online, 2015, physical. And people were really wanted it. And I continued that for 3 more years. Listen,
I know that there's a huge wealth of... I remember we were doing a show in Tabernacle, not far from here. And yeah, it was just so amazing. But one of the things that is the publicity that we have to... Because if like what you was doing there had greater exposure, I'm sure that, you know, you couldn't stop people from coming. They'll be coming for years to come. Avril Nanton, big up to Avril. She's done the book, oh, can we say it? Black in London. She's written a book.
Oh, Avril, right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
Black in London.
Mine too.
Big up to Avril.
I'm here.
She does tours.
I'm here.
Avril, you're here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, well, look, I big you up. Stay quiet.
Oh. Wow.
She does tours and so on. I thoroughly loved her tours. I'm going to be on one of your history studies, by the way. If this is Linford Sweeney, guys.
Well, can I
Black
say
historian, and he does have various sessions where he teaches Black history. I think you got one about the Jamaicans coming up soon.
Yeah, well, I've been, as I said, my actual history that I teach goes as far back as before ancient Egypt. Right. Through ancient Egypt into Nubians, into Kush, looking at the Ghana Empire, the Mali Empire. We look at the Moors. Basically, I'm talking about this was before slavery. Thousands of years of Black history before slavery. This is what I want to put over to people, that Black history did not start with slavery.
It didn't start with slavery. It wasn't to do with the Windrush when we came over here. No. I mean, when was the first Black MP, for example?
The first Black MP was a mixed heritage MP in the 1830s. Wow. In Britain.
Because we learned that in 1907 was the first Black mayor.
The first Black mayor was John Archer.
Right.
But actually, to tell you the truth, he was not the first Black mayor. There was a guy called Mims who became mayor before he did. But we're just finding all of this out now. It's all new.
Now, here's the thing. We're finding this out now. Is that anything to do with George Floyd and what happened, his death?
No. What's been happening, quite a number of people throughout the country have been doing research, lots of research, finding people like Len Johnson, finding people like Sylvester Williams, people like Pablo Fang, the first, a mixed race man who actually, mixed heritage man, who actually at the first, for 30 years ran a circus in the North from the 1840s to the 1870s. Yeah. Now, things like that we're finding out now. Even the first Black policeman in this country was in the 1830s.
Yeah, we studied about a Black policeman from back there. You know, and there was the first black police woman. I think she was in 1970 or 69.
Yes,
Somewhere
well,
around there.
60s, 1960s. She just recently passed away.
And she recently passed away.
Yeah.
What's your website? Let's take a. Have you got a website?
Yes, I do.
What would it? Where would that be?
It's Inspired Histories.
So if we looked at your
inspiredhistories.com.
inspiredhistories.com, you know,
Yeah.
funny thing is, there you are. If we look at your website here, let's have it. Shall we have a look together, guys? Let's have a look at
Okay.
the website here. Here we are. So, Inspired Histories. We are talking to the man himself, Linford. Here he is. Look, Linford Sweeney. Why you look sharp? Yes, I see.
I was at a special event with my good friend Victor Richards, who is the guy who does streets paved with gold.
Oh, okay.
The
Streets
various
paved.
shows
That's a
that he
book.
does all over the country.
Streets paved
Yes.
with gold. Is that a book?
Yep. No, he's an actor. He's had this one-man show for over 26 years now. And he's now made it into a film, so he's looking for people to sponsor him at the present moment.
Oh Lord, let's do that.
Yes,
Streets
there we
paved
are.
with gold. He may well be our next guest.
I
on
think it would be good.
Giggles.
Yep.
You know, 26 years, first I've heard of it. Do you see my point? You know, and we have, you know, these are the things we need to hear more of so we can support. Remember, Shams and Giggles, we are proactively looking for ways to support our community. So,
Yep.
yeah, definitely, Victor Richards. And as we go through here,
Can I just stop? Can you just stop at
Yep.
Dr. Rashidi?
this
This
is Dr.
gentleman
Rich.
here. He
Yes.
passed away last year.
Also, and we're
Unfortunately.
losing valuable people.
We lost this great man, written and edited over 20 books, visited over 130 countries, has over 500,000 photographs, which is now donated to African to people in Africa. And we had this man in Manchester in 2020. He came to Manchester to promote his book and to talk about Black history. And we were supposed to have him back, but unfortunately, he passed away on a trip to Egypt.
Wow.
Yes, great
Dr.
man, great.
Ron-
He has worked with some of the great historians like John Henrik Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima. These were our great Black historians.
Now, only because I'm talking to you and you're very well up on history. What is the importance of Black history? I'd just like you to hear it from you.
Right, there's somebody by the name of Marcus Garvey
Yes.
actually said something. He said, a people without a knowledge of their history, culture, yeah?
Uh-huh.
A people without a knowledge of their history, culture, and origins is like a tree without roots. So unless we know our past, it is difficult for us to know what to do today so as to achieve in the future.
Right. So
It's as simple as that. We need to know our history. In other words, know thyself, know yourself. And the interesting thing is, because of slavery, because of imperialism, because of colonialism, those histories, those origins, that knowledge has been hidden from us. So when I grew up in school in the 1960s and 70s, I had no idea about any Black person who was a great achiever other than Muhammad Ali.
Well, we got an awakening when we saw Roots.
There we are. Yeah.
You know, we knew nothing.
So you can see it was difficult for us in schools in Britain in the 70s to be able to have role models that we could actually look up to. Because even in school, we didn't have Black teachers. Locally in my school, we had one African teacher. That was it.
Well, now I'm going to stop. We'll come back to the website because now you just touched on something. We were just talking then toward the things, and there was Miss Naive who didn't think anything of having black teachers, black role models, and so on. And here's you, Black Hysteria, saying that's absolutely necessary.
No, it is absolutely necessary, not just for us as black people, but for everybody on the planet. It's important. It's important to have role models. And if you don't have those role models in your home, in your family, in your community, you're going to find them somewhere else, and they're going to be negative role models.
Right, right.
So you need, when I talk about role model, I'm talking about positive role models.
So in the school, went to a school. I don't know if you saw the show. They went to the school, and the school it took Black history or race important, and the faculty, I think there were 50% black. I think
they said around 40% or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that it would have an effect, a beneficial effect on the students. Well, and this, I call the Miss Naive, was denying it. Like,
yeah, but I've watched both of those programs, and I have my issues about it. I know K. Andrews, the professor. Yeah,
right.
I know him because we've dealt. He's been to Manchester to promote his Black Studies course before it went, and I was the one who helped him to promote that, and we went down to support him when it first opened.
Right.
But the point is that one of the thing that really annoyed me was when it was found that the children were doing a lot much better.
Yes.
Right. And yet she did not pick up on that.
Right.
That's what I thought was annoying.
Right, because you could see clearly the numbers, and the professor that was in the room with them said the same thing. The stats, the numbers are not right. So therefore, the question is, what else do you want from students? The simple point is, if all you're focusing on is the street language, as was said before, then I'm sorry, we're missing a great opportunity there. That's right, and that's why we keep saying this. We have to develop our own narrative, our own voice, our own channels, because clearly we pick up on those important things, and we see the benefit of that, and that's what we're going to promote and aspire to. People who are not seeing the benefit of that, well, they're going to continue talking. They're living in ignorance, really, isn't it? It's not.
Well, as I said, the point is,
you know.
The point is that show, that those two programs actually said something very important. And I actually wrote it down because I just thought it was just something. I wrote down that on a positive side, this program, We Are Black and British, raised many issues that are complex, hidden, and not usually talked about within the Black community or within British society as a whole.
Right.
Secondly, however, on a less positive note, the program also exposed serious divisions and differences within the Black community where excuses could be made not to deal with the significant issue of racism in British society.
And but the key on that is that we don't have our own voice. So the views that were put forward by those people in that room are random views. And then you have to think, what's their environment? What are they listening to on a daily basis? I mean, the likes of, down here, we've got LBC. I don't know if you got there. The likes of LBC, or if you listen to Heart Radio or these radio stations, they're not helping you. And even some of the Black radio stations, they just play music. They're not helping with knowledge and understanding. So where are people, what is the environment that people are putting themselves into to come up with these conclusions of what is or what is not, I know, quote unquote, being Black?
Also, the thing that came out of this show, I'm not saying this show was a bad show. I'm saying that it had its downsides and it had its upsides. And I think the upsides are that there are issues out there. And when people talk about Black people cannot come together, now we know why. unless we deal
no,
with
no,
these
I wouldn't.
issues.
Now you see, who was it? Tina was saying that thing was a construct. So if some black people, I'm sure there would be, because that show gets millions of viewers who are forced to pay a license fee, right? So in and amongst that broad spread of views, I'm sure there'll be some saying, "Oh, look, see, black people can't come together."
I know.
Well, right.
I know.
But that's not the truth. They left at the end of the show in peace and harmony, respect you and all the rest of it. This was just, but you know, how does it look on a wider spectrum? Your program, Black Histories, if that was given an audience of millions of people that were paying a fee, I'm sure what you're having to say would have a lot of people say, "Ooh, I didn't know that."
Can we also be aware that what happened on the program, the fact that they went away sort of peacefully or whatever, that to me is not that really would not be the reality in our communities.
Well,
It just wouldn't
yes
work
and no,
that way.
Yes and no. I mean, it was a reality show. It wasn't.
No, I mean, yeah, but I don't like, personally, I'm not really into reality shows. Let's put it that way. But because as someone pointed out earlier, a lot of it is contrived and it's managed, you know. But in real life, it's not a focus group. In real life, you know, I don't think it's as simple as that. You cannot do that in a week, with 6 people for 2 shows. How long were they together? A week?
Like a week, yeah.
You know, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Here's
the thing.
They all still went away with unresolved issues.
Yeah, correct. And it wasn't designed to resolve the issues.
No,
it was
no.
designed to highlight the issues
That's
and
exactly
then leave it void, hanging in the air, like, oh look, there's no answers. They can't.
However, what we are looking for, we're looking for solutions.
Well, absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I'd rather talk to you about your Black histories than talk about BBC show. Stories, Hercules Productions. I mean,
actually, that book, Our Stories, I actually did the research. I actually interviewed 7 Black people who had come from the Caribbean to this country, 6 of them, and 1 from Africa who's on the cover, actually, who's passed away now. And I actually interviewed them and wrote the book and co-edited the book. But it was a project, so it's not my piece of work. I actually worked on the project to deliver that particular part of the project. So therefore, that's why I don't see that book as my own. I've written 2 books of my own. This one I wrote, but it's not. I was paid to do that.
Okay, you had a piece of it. You had a piece.
Yeah.
And then so you got Black Walls.
But it's an absolutely wonderful book that looks at some of the issues that a lot of our Black people face when they first came to this country.
So that's
these were lived experiences.
One of the things we've said is that when my brother came to this country, he came in the early 60s, and he used to tell us stories of how they used to run from the Teddy Boys and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
There are stories in and around that era which may have been told, but haven't been told on a wide scale.
That's right.
So this is an interesting book. I think that'd be one to put.
And I believe that more people are now writing books like this.
It's got to be done.
Live history. We need more of that, or else we're gonna lose the experience and the lessons from the Windrush generation.
Yeah, because when these guys are, we're of age now, where things are happening. They're happening very quickly. Good Lord. So Black Wall Street, is that a book or?
No, that was one of the courses that it wasn't a course. I ran a session on Black Wall Street. I don't know whether you know of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, whereby in 1921, what happened is that 3,000 white people set up on this particular place, which was black owned. They had their own hotels, their own surgeries, their own lawyers, everything within this place called Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And 3,000 white people set up on them and burnt it to the ground.
Yeah, it was absolutely awful.
But it was only one of many black towns that were burnt to the ground.
And this history has been coming to the fore. I think there was a place in California where they were asked for reparations because the land that was stolen.
Yep. And
I think eventually the town did give it back. So I got to follow up on that. So Black Wall Street, so this is in your archive.
Yeah, if anybody has a chance to look that up, it's a really interesting. There are a number of YouTube videos on Black Wall Street.
So I'm trying to get you to guide us through your website because there's a lot of stuff on here.
Yeah,
so these are books. People can buy these books, or
no? Some of them are books. Some of them, I mean, for instance, Lloyd Lindbergh Lindy was a black footballer that lived in Britain, from Jamaica. Yeah,
from 1920. He lived long. That's 90 years old.
Yeah.
Well, he just recently passed.
But he was a footballer in this country. Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, Lloyd.
It was called Lloyd Lindbergh Della Pena.
Is Linda Della Pena?
Yes, that's him.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You know it. You've heard of him.
I used to watch him on the TV. I used to watch him on JBC TV.
Oh, by the way, this is a friend of mine. This is a friend of mine listening all the way from Jamaica.
Big up to H8K74.
And that's Claudette or Becky.
Big up Claudette. So three great African queens. Is that a book?
Oh yes, yeah. That is Queen Amina of Nigeria, Queen Nzinga of Mutamba in Angola, and below is Queen Nanny of Jamaica.
And these are, so now how can we buy something from your website? Because I'm not seeing no clicks here. So
these are just posters and information. These are not books. I write a lot of I'm a poet as well, you see, as well as and I write poetry. I write quotes related to Black history. Yeah.
Now, hold on a minute. Let's have a look. This is your book, Dreams of Freedom.
Yeah, I wrote that in 2006 and published that in 2016.
Now, so anybody can go to the website, Inspired Histories.
No, if they go, they'd have to go to Amazon.
Because it says here the book was published in 2016, available from Lulu.
Sorry?
Available from Lulu.
It's also available from lulu.com, which is the site, the place that published it. But it's also on Amazon.
Where would you like people to go?
Or people can actually buy it directly from me, a signed copy.
Click here, and what they have to do, email you.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, okay, so that's an email. Right, you just brought up an email on my screen.
Yeah, by the way, I built this website myself, so it's not all singing and dancing.
Okay, well, anyone can go to the website and they can look and see all these phenomenal things that you've put on here. But as we're going through it, I see that you do have a story to tell on each of these things. And what's this picture here? These three young men.
Those three men came on the 1948 Empire Windrush.
Here's the book.
The one in the middle was in the RAF, and he came back to rejoin the RAF.
Wow. It makes you wonder in this day and age, how would we would we consider joining the RF or the likes? Hold on a minute. We have someone who's had her hand up for a while. I know it's a female voice because she just said hello.
It's Rhonda.
iPhone.
It's Rhonda Finlayson.
It's Horry?
Rhonda.
Rhonda. Hello,
hi, Rhonda.
Linford.
How are you doing?
Hi, Rhonda.
I'm fine.
You have a question for Linford?
Just to say, I'm really interested in the work he's doing with history. Was he doing it at the same time as Paul Ogbonna? And I think it was he called Lawrence at the Manchester Polytechnic?
No, Paula Bernard was one of my my inspirations.
Right, okay, he was one of your tutors.
Yeah, he wasn't my tutor, but he was one of my inspirations. And they passed on quite a bit of information to me after they stopped teaching Black history. Because they were teaching Black history in the 1980s and 1990s.
Yeah.
I only started in the 2005.
Okay, thank you very much, Linford.
How wonderful. Rhonda, now let's do this, guys, because a few more of you may want to ask a question. There's a couple of things you can do. I've noticed that people have been writing things in the chat. You can ask questions in the chat, and then I'll ask Linford. Or, just like Rhonda did, if you put your hand up, you use the little reactions here, you can put your hand up, raise hand, you see? You can raise your hand like that. And then I'll know that you're wanting to ask a question, and I can stop and ask, you know, have you ask your question. It'd be helpful if you put your camera on as well, so Linford can see you. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
You're more than welcome on them. Thank you for your comment. So this is truly exciting, Linford. So the what's the current thing that you're working on?
Currently, I'm actually working on the March the 3rd. I begin my course on Jamaica's Forgotten History.
So March 3rd, Jamaica's Forgotten History.
And it's a 6-week course.
And it's a 6-week course. So we're February 25th. So there's February 25th, 20th. There's like a week.
But tonight,
yeah,
in a week's time.
Next week, Thursday.
It's actually next week, Thursday, that this this course will begin. And this is an online course.
It is a Zoom. It is an online Zoom course. Yes.
It's an online Zoom course. Jamaica's Forgotten History. Just as I'm looking in the chat, Avril mentions I talked about Pablo Fank on my Islington work, first Black circus owner in Victorian times.
Yep, that's right.
Adrian mentions community interest companies. That's the CICs we was talking about. Bespoke articles, it's called, says Angeli. So that must have been something we was talking about earlier. Okay. I know Victor, he came on one of my walks, says Avril. Robin Walker has also worked with him too. Are you familiar with Robin Walker?
Yep. Yeah, he's a great guy, Victor Richards. Very passionate about what he does.
As are you. Well done, Linford. I too built my own website. I've put the link in the chat for Linford's website, which is inspiredhistories.com. Interesting. Avril says she's joined up. Let me go back to the website because
yeah. If you go onto my courses for 2022, if you go up and click onto my courses for 2022, that will give you more information. So, yeah.
This one here.
There we are. Yep, program 2022 program. And if you go down, you'll find March, and you'll find my Black Jamaica's Forgotten History.
There you have it.
And information about that.
There we are. In this 6-week course, we will explore the lives of extraordinary people and life-changing events in the history of this once wealthy and one-time wicked island of the Caribbean. So it's a 6-week course, and it's an email to book your place, yeah?
Yes, yes, yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yep, and as I said, I've even got the course outline, but the main thing about this course is I'm going to focus on some interesting areas of Jamaican history that people probably don't know about. Take, for instance, in the 1850s, there was a cholera epidemic in Jamaica that killed around 30,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. It's things like, or even the fact that, you know, of the Tainos, and the fact that for many years, Jamaica has denied that Taínos actually were still alive. And now they found out that they're the indigenous people. They call them Arawaks. They're the indigenous people of Jamaica. And many of them ran away after Jamaica was taken over in 1655 from the Spanish, by the English, from the Spanish. And they ran away into the hills, and some of the African enslaved people ran away and joined them, and they became the original Maroons.
Wow. Well, talk to Tim, isn't it? Let's just have a question answered here. H8K7T4 has a question. You can unmute yourself.
It's not a question. My battery is dead.
Well, let
My
it die.
battery is dead. Yes.
Yes, let it die.
Okay.
God help. Okay, Rhonda, nice to have you with us. But your battery's going to die. We can't send any charge from where we are.
I know.
That was Claudette.
Oh, sorry, Claudette.
Yeah,
see,
just plug it in. Just plug it in.
Or plug it into the thing. Okay. Plug it in.
Okay, it's running down even though it's plugged in. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, do your best. See how long it lasts.
Reduce the brightness. That will help.
Yeah. Turn off the camera maybe as well.
Yeah. All right. I'll turn the camera off.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah. Reduce the. Yeah.
So that's just one.
Oh, can I just say that I've got a few more courses coming up later. Right. And one of the next course that's going to happen is on African spirituality, an introduction to African spirituality, which will look at the ancient Egyptian mystery system and mystery schools. Oh,
wait. Sorry, my bad. I'm looking at the screen as if I'm sharing it. I'm not sharing it. Is it this one, April to June?
No, this one is just a one-off, that one. But then this one, introducing Egyptian spirituality and mysteries.
That's in May.
Yeah, so it's looking at Mahat, and it's looking at the mystery systems, and it starts in May and finishes in June. And then the next course after that is on the Windrush generation, which is around the time of the Windrush Day. I do that every year.
Windrush Day, so in June.
Yeah.
That's when, so what year was it? 1948?
They came in June 1948, June the 21st, and they disembarked on the 22nd.
And then they just kept coming, every year?
Yes, they kept coming, and eventually, by 1962, there were about 500,000 people of Caribbean descent in this country already, which is why they then had the Immigration Act in 1962 to stop more coming.
Isn't it a bit like what they've done with the Polish people? They bring them in.
This is it.
And then here we got Brexit.
Yeah,
many of them. They're taking our jobs. They're taking our women. They're taking our houses. They're taking everything.
Yeah. So as I say, I've got a list of courses for the whole year at the moment. And during that time, I've got various projects. I've got a tour. I'm developing a tour, a Black History tour of Manchester now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you do a similar. So you're doing a similar thing as what Avid
this
does.
is it.
Have you done a tour before, or would this be your first one?
It will be my first one. I've been asked to do it because the university, someone from the Manchester Metropolitan University, they're bringing up some young people from London, and they're going to engage them with young people up here and elders. And one of the things they want to do is to also take them on a tour of Manchester. I've got about 14 different sites they can visit.
Wow, that's just amazing. Even I'd want to, could you put me down? I want to go on a tour. You know, funny thing is, I haven't been to Manchester. I've been to the airport once and came back.
You don't know what you're missing.
That's probably true. So if you're doing a tour, I would happily travel up. Let me ask you about your daughter. You and your daughter do a talk show?
Well, if you ask my daughter, she'll tell you a bit more about it because she's the one who sort of runs it really, and I sort of I'm part of that. But it's like a father and daughter kind of thing. So she asks me questions and I will answer, and you know, it's like that. So you can ask her if she's still on.
So Anjali Sweeney, are you in the building?
Hello, good evening. I'm here.
Oh, she is there. Do we have the camera on, or is it off?
No camera tonight.
Is the hair not did? What's our one?
No, I've just put it in a twist.
Is it in twist? It's not perm like what we see in the picture.
No, I have micro locks. It's not perm. No.
Oh, it's micro locks. I bet that looks nice.
It looks all right, thank you.
It does, and it does. Let me add you to the spotlight. Put you alongside Daddy.
Alongside Daddy, eh?
Yeah.
I can't tempt her. I can't tease her. I can't help her to turn the camera on. Oh, she moved.
Right, I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Lord of mercy.
So, yeah, basically,
Anjali Sweeney is in the building, daughter of Linford
Yes.
Sweeney. They're
quite
a fabulous duo, father and daughter team, doing big things. Anjali's going to explain.
Thank you for that introduction. And yeah, daughter of a king, I have a lot to live up to. Essentially, I've done youth and community work for about 20 years. And in 2020, when we had the whole kind of like George Floyd incident and everything that happened from there, you know, the civil rights movement, and then clearly the pandemic, and the work that I do with young people around kind of mitigating trauma and such, I recognised that there was a bit of a gap doing consultation work with young Black and brown people. And there was a lot of young people who were experiencing trauma because of, you know, racial trauma, because of pandemic trauma, etc., etc.
Ongoing,
so, yeah, I just thought it might be an idea. Spoke to a few other youth workers, set up a youth worker network group in Manchester of Black and brown youth work practitioners to help support these young people, and then set up a Instagram channel where every week we do Black History Talks Q&A debate at 8.
Wait a minute. Lord, do you guys hear all of this just rolling? You set up a youth worker community
network, yeah.
Network. And then you brought all the the leaders together, so to speak. And
we have representatives from a lot of our youth clubs and youth organizations and other youth practitioners on the ground. So we've got
you guys still have youth clubs, because down here they've closed pretty much all of them.
Yeah, we've got a few. We've got a few youth clubs. So the ones that we have, you know, it's a case of having culturally competent youth work in the city and ensuring that Black and brown, or Black practitioners in particular, are supported and that they can get into leadership roles, that they can get trained up, that they can really help to support our Black young people.
So as a Black group, you now sort of give each other the support to know how to climb through, because obviously it can be a landmine, can't it? A minefield. So together you guys are able to work up through the very relevant step ladder.
We've in the past 4 weeks we've done some amazing work, or I've managed to get to some heights. So we've set up a Greater Manchester network, we've set up a regional network, and we now have set up a national network working with like UK Youth and Centre of Youth Studies and Institute of Youth Work. And so we're doing some good stuff.
We're here to talk about Dad, by the way.
I know. So you asked me about youth work, and that's my passion. Sorry.
But nonetheless, I think we should have you on the platform. We just had Davis Williams last week, Manhood Academy. We'll have to get you lot paired up. So anyway,
I actually
we're going to have to come to that. You know, you've met Davis Williams.
Yeah. I did an event with him in Manchester last month. Sorry,
you didn't. So yeah, we will have to talk to him, but not to detract from Daddy.
Not at all. Yeah.
So
the Instagram channel is called Speak Your Youth Truth MCR. Every Monday at 8, we talk about Black history, and adults and young people come on, and it's amazing. And My dad is just a font of knowledge.
So hold on, mate. Speak your youth.
Speak your truth.
Or speak your truth.
And speak is spelled SPK.
How you spell speak? SPK.
SPK, speak your truth. And then it's _ MCR.
Is that how to find you? Well, type it in the thing and then
I will do.
You know,
just put in SPK and it's very much likely you'll find it.
Oh,
put SPK where?
Or just put in on Instagram, speak your truth. SPK your truth. That's how I find it. It's nice and simple. Yeah.
On Instagram on a Monday, and basically it's a discussion between yourself and your father where you pick his brain.
Pretty much, and we just talk about topics that people want to know about. So if they want to know about UK Black history at a certain point, then we'll do a topic on that. If they want to know about immigration, we did a topic on that last week. Anything really. So the month of March, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff around mental health in the Black community.
Right. Okay. Big things. So wonderful to have you join us, Angeli. And by all means, we'll have to have you back on the show. Linford Sweeney is in the building, guys, doing amazing things. Written 2 books. We've visited the website. We've seen how to get a book, how to get a signed copy. I just didn't see the other one, though. I saw Dreams of Freedom. I didn't see the other one, which is called.
No, my other book.
Myself.
Yeah, my other book was published in 2011. I'm also a coach, a life coach, and mainly around spirituality and life purpose coaching. And so my first, since 2009, every week I send out an affirmation or a quotation. And I've been doing that since 2009, every Sunday. And the first 52 weeks, I put into a book and published that book in 2011 called At Peace with Myself.
Wow, and that's
so it's not history. It's not history. It's to do with motivation, inspiration, and the plan is that this year I will have another book out of inspiration.
Are you familiar with Les Brown?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, amazing guy.
Amazing.
His son is president of his company.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing yourself and your daughter together, it just brought that to mind. But yeah, amazing guy. So following you guys, Avril says also on Speak Your Truth. She spelt it SPK, Your Truth on Insta. Easy to find. So just amazing. We're going to keep it to an hour. Been absolutely great having you on board this evening, Linford. One of the things you're quoted as saying is you want Black history not to be considered as history, as Black history, but to be considered as history.
Definitely, because as I say, without Black history, there's no history. Because if you look back at the out of Africa theory, 180,000 to 200,000 years ago, out of Africa came Black people, and they populated the whole world. And it is only Black people that biologically can produce people of many different colors.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, that, isn't it? You know, and it has been said there's a certain gene that we have. So the Black mother can produce, well, we've seen it, all different shades.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
It doesn't happen the other way.
That's correct. So what I'm saying is that the important thing is people need to be aware that it's not just about that. But if you look at inventions, for instance, there are many people who have said that Black people never invented anything. And yet, if you look at the light the light bulb, the carbon filament in your light bulb was a Black man that invented that. Yeah. The traffic lights, the automatic traffic lights with the amber, a Black man invented that. Yes. The portable portable refrigeration system that's used in transport. A black man invented that. So therefore, why should it be just Black history? It should be history.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Absolutely. Guys, you can unmute yourself because I've given everyone can unmute. We want to give a big thank you to Linford Sweeney for joining us on Shamps and Giggles, for explaining to us the value of Black history and the absolute need for Black history to be taught in schools as history, because we did make history. So we want to give him a big thank you. Also, be sure to follow him on his website. Twitter is possible, and you know, the tours that he's doing, which are coming up soon. Next week, there's one in Jamaica, and there's one throughout the year. So we just want to give Linford a big round of applause, and you know, a big thank you for joining us on the platform.
Thank you, Linford.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linford.
Thank you very much.
Go back a long way, yes.
Oh yes, Pauline. Yes.
Yes.
Bravo.
Thanks for coming on, Pauline.
Oh, no way, I would miss this. You know what?
By the way,
you.
Pauline's from is live from Florida.
I'm live from Florida. I'm coming. I'll be back in Manchester. I'll be back in Manchester in March. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, but listen, when Linford was talking about him always asking questions, I remember when we all grew up on the same estate in Hume, and Linford, never mind asking his mother questions, but he used to always quiz us as his, you know, his mates.
Right.
He'd always be quizzing us. Do you know this? Do you know that? So it's something that is definitely inherent in him. Yes.
Yeah. He's had a mind just searching.
I want to
put
join in.
comments on?
I want to join in on for the one with Nanny.
Nanny? Who's Nanny?
Yes, Nanny of the Maroons.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So go to the website. You can go to the website and you'll be able to join in. By the way, Tina says someone is missing me poetry collection. Tina, fly over.
Yes. Hi, Tina. I know Tina.
Hi, Linford. Well done.
Hello, Tina.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hiya.
We're all here.
We come to the best things, don't we?
We do, don't we? This was excellent tonight. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Now, guys, don't go away. The quiz master is in the building, and